Getting started in the trades, especially a trade like the lineman trade, it can be rather difficult. Today, I want to go over 5 things that are awesome to know that nobody told me before I got started in the trades. Hi, I'm Austin. I'm a journeyman lineman. I've been in lineman trade since 2017. Before that, I did power line tree trim clearance. Before that, I welded at a fab shop. Before that, I worked at a mechanic shop while I was in high school. My dad, he's a union pipe fitter by trade. My mom's a nurse. I grew up in the country. My siblings work in the trades. The trades is really the only thing I know when it comes to career stuff. Today, I want to go over 5 things that would have been really good to know before getting started in the trade, specifically the lineman trade, but nobody told me these things. So today I want to share with you guys. So if you're looking to get started in the trade like the lineman trade or a highly competitive trade like ironworkers or pipe fitting or any of these trades, that these things will help you be more of a successful apprentice and will hopefully give you a better understanding of things that can help you while you're working in a trade. So the first thing, and I think this is hands down number one thing, is going to be dealing with the different personalities. Now, getting into a trade like the lineman trade, I had no idea about the different personalities that I was going to have to deal with on a day-to-day basis as an apprentice. What I mean by this is you're working in the trade like the lineman trade, you're working on a crew. And you have a foreman, you might have 2 journeymen and another apprentice. Either way, you are dealing with a variety of different personalities. Your foreman, Chris, could be an awesome, humble, hardworking, fun guy to be with. Well, lineman Bradley, he might be a real jerk, alcoholic, who is depressed and is going through a divorce. And then the other lineman, he might be bipolar. And so you're dealing with all these different personalities. Now, this is extremely hard as an apprentice because normally you get the brunt of the negative sides of these personalities because they need to take it out on somebody. And unfortunately, because you're the low man on the totem pole, you're the one who ends up getting the crap. Now, crap rolls downhill, and unfortunately, you're the one at the bottom of the hill. And that's just how it kind of works. So that's something that you're going to really have to know getting into it. The most trades, I'm going to say most trades, the different personalities, man, the personalities, and it doesn't necessarily change once you're a journeyman. The thing that changes is once you're a journeyman, if you don't like the personalities of the guys on your crew, you can have a voice on the crew. You can tell your foreman, you can tell them to shut up, act different. Or if you really don't like it, you can always just drag up, quit, and, go work somewhere else. So you have that option as a journeyman. As an apprentice, you don't have that. You just have to, unfortunately, suck it up and deal with all the different personalities. With that being said, that kind of leads me into the thing number 2 that would have been good to know. And that thing number 2 is the standard of expectations. With all these different personalities, each guy is also going to have their own set of expectations for you as an apprentice or a laborer or as a groundman or whatever entry-level position you're at. There's going to be a set of expectations. And unfortunately, 95% of the time, it's going to be you're going to have to ask and you're going to have to figure out what those expectations are. If you're on a good crew, not boasting, but like my crew right now, we have a groundman. He knows what his expectations are from us because we tell him, hey, bro, this is what we expect you to do. This is what we want you to do. We laid it out for him so he knows what his expectations are. And if he's not meeting those expectations, we're going to tell him. We're going to let him know, hey, bro, what's going on? Pick up the slack. You aren't meeting the expectations that are laid out for you. You'll work with crews, guys that don't do that, right? So now you're having to try to figure out what those expectations are. And most of the time, that's rather hard to do. And you're going to have to be the one to approach them and be like, hey, man, like, I know I probably should be doing this, this, and that, but like, what else should I be doing? What else do you want me to do? There's a standard of expectations of like cleaning trucks, making sure material and trucks are cleaned and organized, and making sure there's ice and water, and making sure all these little things. Like there's a standard of expectations, but there's a set of expectations above the standard that are going to need to be met. And you're going to have to figure out what those expectations are. And unfortunately, you're probably not a mind reader, so you're going to have to approach and ask and figure out what those expectations are so you can be a good apprentice and ultimately move through the apprenticeship. Because if you don't meet those expectations, there's the chance that you'll just get kicked down the road or move to a different crew. And as soon as you start getting bounced around from crew to crew to crew, that's never a good look. The third thing that would have been really good to know getting into the trade, especially the lineman trade, is the traveling aspect. Getting into the lineman apprenticeship, I had an idea of what traveling might be or what it might look like. Not until I actually got the phone call for the apprenticeship when the director told me, hey bro, we need you to show up here in Oregon, which was in the middle of nowhere. And from there, it was never really easy. I was bouncing, I was living hours and hours away from home. Traveling is part of the trade, especially the lineman trade. I know it can be part of other trades as well. But if you get into an outside lineman apprenticeship, let's say Mountain States, that covers many different states. And there can be that expectation, there can be that chance that you will be sent from Colorado to Utah, to Montana, to Wyoming. So it covers these different states, and you're just going to be prepared to travel. Traveling is part of the lineman trade on the outside. Once you top out, once you become a journeyman, hey, if you want to settle down and go to a utility, or if there's work in your area, you can stay local. But as an apprentice, you don't really have that. You're kind of going through the apprenticeship under the thumb of the apprenticeship itself. And wherever they tell you to go is where you're going to go. And if you don't like it, well, there's always someone right behind you that would love to take your spot. So traveling, you're going to have to suck it up and you're just going to have to deal with it. Thing number 4 that is good to know is kind of relating to thing number 1 and thing number 2 is you're never going to be able to appease or make everyone happy that you work with. With that, like I was saying, set and standard of expectations, and with those different personalities, you're gonna naturally want to be the hardest worker, the best worker, the smartest worker, all these things as an apprentice. That's just a matter of fact. That's reality. At least you should be like that. And you're gonna try to please the guys, your superiors, your linemen, your journeymen you're working with. You want to try to show them, hey, I am a good apprentice. Hey, I'm a smart apprentice. Hey, I'm a hardworking apprentice. And you want to try to make them happy. You want to try to appease them, but that's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to appease and make everyone happy. Get that through your head right now. If you want to get into a trade, lineman trade, ironworker, plumbing, honestly, it doesn't even matter. You're going to want to try to appease. You're going to want to try to make people happy, but just know you're not going to be able to make everyone happy. That's just reality. If you know that right now, that's just going to help you in the future. So know that you might be able to make your foreman happy because he's a cool guy. He's pretty happy. He's funny, whatever. He loves to hang out, do this and that. Well, the journeyman on your crew, the other guy, he might be completely different personality. He might have completely set of different expectations for you, and you might try to make it happy, but it just might not work at all. And that's okay. Though what it comes down to is you just have to do the best that you can do. Just be confident that you're trying your best and you're doing your best. And that's ultimately what really matters. As long as you're getting good monthly reports, as long as you're doing good, you're completing your homework and getting the hours you need, then it doesn't really matter. But you're not going to be able to make everyone happy. So just know that. Thing number 5 that would be good to know, and I wish I knew, is peer pressure. Just know when you get into the trades, there's a lot of peer pressure that's going to happen. As an apprentice, as a laborer, there's master manipulators out there. You're going to have these journeymen, these superiors to you that are going to peer pressure you into try doing things that probably aren't good for you to do. Whether you don't want to do them or you don't believe that what they're trying to peer pressure you to do is right. But unfortunately, because you're the apprentice, you're the low man on the totem pole, you feel like you should be obligated or you should do these things. That's not really how it is supposed to be, but unfortunately it is. For example, there might be times where, alcohol is involved at some point in your apprenticeship. There's a good chance that's going to happen. But a lot of blue collar people love to drink alcohol. And there's a good chance that they're going to peer pressure you into going to the bar with them on a Tuesday after work. And you say yes, so you go to the bar with them. You end up drinking more than you should, but you have to work the next day, and your trailer or wherever you're living is 45 minutes away. Well, so you got to drive home. Now, you drive home, but you get DUI. Well, congratulations. You just threw your whole entire apprenticeship, your whole career down the drain because you got peer pressured into doing something that you shouldn't have done. Peer pressure is going to be there. It's going to be right in front of your face a lot of the times. Just know, as an adult, you might be thinking back when you're younger, I got peer pressure doing things all the time. It doesn't get easier when you get older, especially when you're that apprentice, that low man on the totem pole, and you have your journeyman peer pressuring you into doing things. And those things, like I was saying, are things that you might not believe in, or you might not think is right, or you shouldn't be doing, or you shouldn't do, but you do them anyway because you think that you should, because your superiors are telling you that you should be doing it with them. Just know peer pressure is going to be a heavy thing that is going to be thrown in front of your face all the time. So, yeah, that's something that would have been good to know for me before I got into the lineman trade. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. With Blue Collar Edu, I'm here to expose, teach, educate you guys about blue collar career opportunities, how to get started in the skilled trade. There are more expectations that I have here. I'm not going to go through all of them right now. Maybe I'll make a separate video in the future. If you guys want to see them, if you guys have, if there's things that you know or wish that were good to know for you, put them in the comments down below so we can, educate each other in the comments and, try to help kind of have the community there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hey, I'll catch you guys on the next video.